Hello, friends. Welcome to the Veterinary Life Coach Podcast. Today, I have a wonderful guest for you. I'm so excited. His name is Dr. Matthew Hynes, and he is an emergency medicine veterinarian and the co-owner director of Advanced Animal Emergency in Clinton Township, Michigan. He's a board member and advisor at A-Paws, which is a nonprofit organization that provides low-cost veterinary care for the public. He is currently the second vice president of the Michigan Veterinary Medical Association, which you know I'm passionate about. And he is a former junior ranger of the Boy Scouts of America. Welcome to the podcast, Matt. I'm excited to have you. This is going to be fun.
Go.
I'm excited. I want to learn all about all of these things.
Me too. And I'm still slightly nervous. So
Well,
here we
don't be
go.
nervous. Nobody has ever died while I'm interviewing them. So I think we're
That's one
okay.
of my rules in travel. Don't die.
Don't die
Don't
while
get
you're
very
on a
lucky.
trip, right? So I always ask everyone when they're on the podcast, especially veterinarians, is to tell me their story because I love the veterinary story. So tell me where it started for you to become a vet.
Um, well, it was like I was kind of alluding to before the show. I was inspired by a lot of different people because I was good with animals. I mean, my toy when I was at my dad's was a cat and a piece of grass. Like, you know,
That was your only
yeah,
game.
no, and the creek behind our house, we had fish, we had crayfish, we had planaria, we had all kinds of stuff in there. It was fascinating.
That's cool.
Leeches
Yeah.
occasionally, snapping turtles.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
So you liked
Wildlife.
animals right from the get-go,
Yep,
like a lot of us. Yeah.
absolutely. I knew what I wanted to do when I was young because I wanted to be a space zookeeper, uh,
A
or a
space
veterinarian.
zookeeper.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Like whatever that is, right?
Yeah, I don't know. That's like a 4-year-old thought.
Do you still want to go to space
Um,
on some
I
level?
mean, I'm not married to the idea. I really like being here.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not bad, huh?
Yeah, no, I'm a pretty happy guy. I'm lucky. I work with great people.
Yeah. So tell me how you got there. Like you loved animals, you played with the cat, you fished in the creek. Then what?
Yep.
How did you get to vet
Got
school?
a job in pizza when I was like 14 and a half, and I worked for Nino Salvaggio. I um, then got into animal research at 16 because it paid the bills, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I
Um,
bet that was a
I-
good job for a 16-year-old.
it was. I got $17 an hour if memory serves. And that was like 1998.
Yeah, it was big money.
Yeah, no, I wanted to go to school and we were not a rich family. So I was going in state. I wanted to go to MSU to be a vet. I was a valedictorian of my high school, Kimball.
Of course you were.
Yeah, no, I didn't even really
Awesome.
realize what a valedictorian was until I got to the end. And I hope this doesn't sound braggy, but you asked.
No, I want you
Uh,
to.
no, I like achievement. I like learning. I ask a lot of questions.
And is that how you were raised? Like, is that something that
Yep,
your parents
both
kind of
sides.
instilled in you?
I learned organization skills, cleaning, chores, how to make it a game, how to like make maintenance fun from the Sellers family of West Virginia and Tennessee. And my other side of my family, the Hineses of Royal Oak, uh, doctors, nurses, civil servants, lawyers. I don't know. One of my uncles actually is big in the Lutheran Church. Um, but yeah, no, we both sides try to do good by the world.
Yeah, servants, which is
Yeah.
awesome. So how did you end up in the hospital? You said were in research at the hospital. So I'm guessing it was animal research.
My uncle Boris Sellers was chairman of the Beaumont Foundation for a time, and his brother, my grandfather Floyd, God rest his soul, was a trash picker, and we had garage sales. Big
Really?
ones, yeah, big ones.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Like a picker.
yeah.
Like he went and picked up stuff and then resold it.
He had a basement room called Mr. Breakits, and he fixed stuff.
That's awesome.
My grandmother played bingo and watched kids.
And he picked up stuff and fixed it and sold it.
Yeah, you drive around in this old wood paneled, God, what do you call them? the cars with the really long
Like a
tail.
station wagon.
Yeah, there you go. It had
That's what
the
they used to
seats
call them.
facing the
Before they had
back too.
minivans, it was station wagon.
Yeah, they called us the Royal Oak Hillbillies in that family.
That's awesome. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool. But that instilled in you a good work ethic.
and values.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I
Yeah.
trust. They're my armor.
Yeah.
Compromise everything but your values.
Right. Right. Which is so important.
Makes life easy.
Yes. Yeah. If you know what your morals and values are, the decisions are simple, right?
Yep.
So tell me where you were 16, you went to the hospital, you worked in research, and then how did vet school? How did you get through college? You told me earlier you were a microbiologist. So tell me.
Yep. John Canini took me in out of Beaumont when I worked there. And by the way, I was part of ALAC inspections when I was 17. Like was taught ethics very early in animal use. So I don't think that I'm 3/4 vegetarian and I live with a former vegan. So um, I'm very respectful of animals and I put my money where my mouth is when I
Yeah,
say
because
that.
sometimes research has a bad connotation, right? Like I worked
No,
in research when I was at Michigan State, and it has a very
we
bad.
threw a doctor out of Beaumont because he was not being nice to the animals.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yes, like
Yeah,
values, right?
right.
But yeah, so Dr. Canini, the epidemiologist, took
I
me in
remember him. I
and
loved
taught
him. He used
me
to say,
everything I know.
piece of cake, chocolate.
Yeah, he called me, do you like impressions?
Yes.
Matt, you are my epistar.
Epis. I love that.
Yeah. I worked with Amy Green, who was she taught me everything in the lab, technique, skills.
And then you went to Michigan State.
Yeah, so I was at Michigan State, and that building happened to be in the Rose Garden, so it was extra great. I got to walk through a rose garden every day to go to work.
That's
Um,
really cool.
I got into physics after that and taught physics lab for 5 years while I was in vet school for a little while too, because I just really liked it. And it was old hat. Um, I worked with Dr. Saeed in aquatics for a while. And that was fabulous. He like really, really got me into some very interesting places. Atlanta Aquarium, if you've never been.
I've not
Um,
been to one in Atlanta. No.
I worked on horseshoe crabs there. Um, again, very, very respectfully.
Yeah.
They're good to their animals. Um,
Was that
yeah.
research or was that like medical care of the animals at
It
the?
was when I was thinking about doing a PhD in aquatics
Oh, okay.
before I went into emergency. And like, yeah, I like doing different stuff. Emergency is the thing I've stuck with the longest, which is why I bought in. Like
Yeah.
that's why Maddie and I purchased the clinic. We were in it for the long haul. We're lifers.
Yeah. Well, tell me why emergency medicine? Because not
Um,
all of us do it, right? Like I worked in an emergency clinic when I think I was in vet school. I worked
yeah.
in a summer, as an assistant or whatever I was. And I liked it a lot, but I didn't go into emergency medicine. So why that? What do you love about that?
Um, so at the end of school, my mentor, Winston Wilkinson, told me to not get more educated, but to go cement all the skills I had learned so I have something to fall back on when I don't get a job as a philosophy professor,
Oh,
which is the
yes.
most
You were
practical
in
advice I have
philosophy.
ever been given.
Yeah.
I'm
I
looking
love
at a picture.
philosophy though. That's so interesting.
Yeah, no, I wanted to go into ethics and rhetoric, but alas. And so I did this emergency thing. I had very good teachers. Natalie, thank you. Kayla, thank you. Lots of people taught me how to be. Um,
Good
and
at ER med.
yeah, yeah, and ER, you get a lot of skills real quick, or you take a day job.
Kind of sink or swim, right?
Yeah, trial
Yeah.
by fire.
Yeah. And do you think that, I mean, this is a hard question to ask you because this is what you do every day, but do you think that it is much more stressful than being in day practice? Like, do you see a difference in the ER docs versus the day practice docs as far as their,
You,
stress
it
level?
it can be. You have to have, I mean, it all comes back to values. Like that's what makes it easy.
Okay.
I have health problems. Like I was an inside kid for a lot of reasons for a while. But I just I've seen doctors burn out. I try to design my practice to be good to the doctors and the team. We got new practice management software recently that's I see the benefit as the techs are no longer sitting at Avamark typing notes for hours. They're a little bit harder to read, but it saves my staff like so much time.
Hours. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all in the cloud and it all checks our legality and everything. It measures our doses for us. It gives us a nice like backup. Instinct science. Everybody should try it. Um,
Instinct Science, is that the name of the program?
yeah, it's designed by
Okay.
a
I've
veterinarian.
not heard of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they really do take requests. Like if you ask for improvements, they'll fix it for you
So it's kind
on
of
the spot,
designed for your hospital.
24 hours a day. We are
Yeah.
fully functional. We use IT Guru for our technical problems. We use IDEX for our lab work because they spend more on research than any other lab company.
Mm-hmm.
They're cutting edge. Um, and we try and keep our prices reasonable for the area that we're located. So we use MSRP plus the standard emergency markup minus, and we don't line item, we're not going to charge you for a syringe. That's cost of doing business.
Right, right. So
Thank you, Sarah Abood.
yes, Sarah Abood graduated with me. We're
Did she?
class. Hmm.
How? I bet you were either friends or enemies.
We were friends.
I
We were
thought
friends.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was one of my mentors in vet school.
she's a strong leader, and she was always like the head of the class, the president. Like that was her. Even
She
in
also taught ethics and business.
yes. Absolutely. Yeah, she's awesome. I love Sarah. So tell me about the values. Like what do you think are important values for veterinarians to have in order to, kind of keep your head on straight and make strong decisions and not get in the weeds?
Um, I mean, I don't mean to be cloying or whatever. I have atheist friends, but no God.
I agree. Yeah. And just make your decisions based on that.
Well, yeah, but don't do it for a reward.
Do it because it's the right thing to do.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. So how does that work for you? Like when you're making a decision in a busy hospital or you have a client that's angry or, something's not going well, what is that your values and morals, how does that help you make decisions? If somebody out there doesn't feel like they know themselves well enough to have those strong values, like tell them why it's important and how it works.
Um, yes, okay. I think I can answer that.
I have a tendency to make weird questions up. So,
No, and I have a method for everything.
okay, good.
And if I don't, I make the tool myself. I figure out
Awesome.
how. Or I know a guy.
Yeah.
But I stop and I take a breath and I say, what am I doing? And I don't carry my phone in my pocket.
Hmm. I love that. I don't either.
I am not on social media. It is distracting and divisive. Life is not a dichotomy.
It's very
There is
brave.
not right and wrong. There is not right and wrong. I mean, sometimes there is, but
Right.
not today, devil.
Right. Yeah.
I
There's
grew
not,
up
there's
Southern
not a lot of
Baptist.
gray.
I grew up at Southern Baptist on
In
one side.
Michigan, you grew up? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Faith
I didn't know
Baptist
we had
Church.
Southern Baptists in Michigan.
Yeah, it was a very progressive church too. I was taught
That's
love there.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
Shrine of the Little Flower was the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting families, that's for sure.
Yeah. But it made you who you are, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Lots of teachers.
Yeah. So tell me about, well, I know you're a leader. I'm I'm
Try to
I'm
be.
toying with the idea of going down the
What day is
leadership
it? Tuesday?
road or the self-care road. Which way would
Uh,
you rather go?
one of my best friends. Well, no, I have a plan for a balanced life because I
Okay, tell me
figure
about that. I love that.
so I want to
A
retire into
plan,
wealth.
a balanced life plan.
Yes, I want to retire into um wellness. So I've been doing research and teaching, and I'm doing a stint in politics here in a minute. So
Yeah,
uh,
as a vice president,
yeah,
right?
and like, no, I don't want to go national. I don't, because I don't want to make deals and things like that. That's not me. It
Right.
would be disingenuous. So, and it would feel icky, I guess. Um, so yeah, no, I guess keep it simple. Occam's razor.
But tell me
Uh,
what do you do personally, like to take care of
oh, one of my best
yourself?
friends, as I was saying, I got off track there, didn't I?
That's
Uh,
okay.
one of my
I'll
best
keep pulling you
friends,
back, or I'll just
thank
take you
you,
somewhere else. Is kind of how I do it.
Natasha Wilson, is a Johns Hopkins trained psychotherapist who doesn't therapize her friends. She's just their friends. But she does also teach and practice massage. And so we barter massage,
Oh,
because
really?
yeah, I know I have big hands and I'm a surgeon, so I can feel your myofascial trigger point. But yeah, no, so that's a thing. I love acupuncture. I live near Metaphysica and I read a lot, you know. I live near John King Books, and yesterday I took my partner to an eye appointment in Ann Arbor and got to go to my Mecca, the Dawn Treader bookstore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
So did you buy a bunch of books?
So much so that I had to walk back and get the car and drive it to the store.
You couldn't even carry them all. That's awesome.
Nope.
Yeah, so
And
reading,
it's
getting
cheap
off of
too,
social
it's a
media.
cheap habit. It's a cheap place to have.
Yeah, do you keep your books or do you like hand them off
My
or do you read them?
my house is a library, but everybody knows this. If it's not behind glass, you can take it with you.
Oh, really? So
Oh
anyone
yeah.
who comes over can borrow your books?
You can't keep everything.
Well, that's true. And there's no reason to, right?
Yeah, no, just keep the meaningful stuff.
Yeah.
Throw away the card.
That's really cool. I love the reading thing because I'm always saying I'm going to read more. I'm going to read more. I'm going to read more. And because I have kind
Yeah.
of
You
one of those squirrel brains, I'm constantly like, well, but I could do this and then I could do that. And, I get a little scattered. So I always
just
have a
take an hour
pile of
for
books
yourself
though
every day.
that I'm reading.
Yeah, put them around you. Put
Yeah,
them in
I
your
do.
way. That's what I
I
do.
have several and I'm usually about halfway through each one because I pick up
Yeah,
different
that's how
ones.
I read
Yeah, which I don't know why, but
with a
it
little
seems
touch of
to appeal
ADD.
to me. Yeah, I probably do have a little ADD, truth be told.
Keeps you honest.
I guess so. So tell me about what you like and what you don't like about being a leader, because you run your practice along with your partners, correct?
Yes. We co-own. They're both in the throes of parenthood. So I like work Christmas and Thanksgiving because that's my penance for splitting, a full-time position now that I don't want to work 90 hours a week anymore.
Yeah.
Um, so it was a lot of work in the beginning, and I think we built a really strong place. Rick, thank you very much for teaching us leadership, and Carl and Chuck. We had a 3-day leadership conference that really changed the culture in my hospital,
Yeah.
and we've been leaning into it ever since.
And what did you do specifically to change the culture?
We went to um, what is it? MISD, the district school building,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah, I
we
know that.
hired these guys, Rick and Chuck. My
Mhm.
employees called them the Bobs. Thank you, girls. I love you. You keep it interesting.
That's
Make me
awesome.
blush all the time too. But yeah, I know. And he gave us some inspiring lectures. recommended a few books, which actually a good number of my team read because they felt good at this and played games. He told me, I want you to bring 5 giant sticky pads.
Mm,
Make sure the room has a
those are fun.
projector and that we have an empty room. Uh, he taught us to trust each other
Yeah,
and
it's
give each other the
important.
benefit of the doubt. So, like, if a single mother is 15 minutes late, you know, if you want her to be employed there long term, you're going to give her some, 15% for
Some
life.
latitude. Yeah. And not going to be bitching about it behind her
Yep.
back. Yeah.
No.
So important.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes back to your, have grace and love for everyone, right?
Yeah. I mean, when you look at what we have going on in the world, Gaza and Ukraine and
I
geez,
know. I hate to even think about
pollution,
that. It makes me so sad.
war. Yeah, no. So I mean, when it's cold and dark, what do you have left? Kindness.
Yeah, kindness for sure. So let's go back to the games thing. Did the games allow you to trust each other, do you think? Because I'm big into that. Like when I had staff meetings, we always had silly games to play because I think it's really bonding for a practice. So tell me about that.
I was stressed and unhealthy, and I had forgotten what I learned. Pardon me, excuse me, learned as a child. Allergies, I'm telling you.
Go ahead. Let's both drink.
Um, cheers.
Hmm.
But yeah, so
With
I
that
mean,
water.
my family always played games, and so I had just forgotten that that teaches you to like play with each other, you know?
Yes.
Go out to a play, don't watch TV. In real life is so cool.
Yeah,
Like
live
my
music,
first game,
live.
my
Yeah.
first game was when I was 3. I was taught by my grandmother how to play a Western Irish game called Chase the Ace.
Chase the Ace. Is that a
Yeah.
card game?
Cards and pennies.
Oh, cool. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like gambling a little bit.
Oh yeah. My family teaches you try not to get addicted to things. And if you are, we're supportive of your cure because there are predilections on both sides. So
Right.
we try to look out for each other.
Yeah. But those are the kind of games you played at this leadership thing that brought your team closer.
Yeah, I mean, he put a blindfold on one of us and had the other one walk us around. He blindfolded all of us and had one person who could see the shape of a rope, explain it without using words, yeah, something like that. He had us build. So he built a little house out of like Tinker Toy type things.
Yeah, I've done that one with my team. That one's fun.
Yeah, you know that one.
Uh-huh.
That teaches you how you communicate.
Yeah. Well, explain how it works because I know how it works, but if people haven't
Okay,
before.
so Rick and Chuck build these little houses out of Imagine Tinker Toys, and you have 2 people who are gonna see it, and they run to 2 people who are going to tell the people how to build it.
Right. Yeah. It's like kind of a little bit like telephone.
Paper telephone, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And then the people at the other end have to build it without ever seeing it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun game. And then they run back and forth and keep getting information and asking questions. And
Talking about myself now has just made me realize that I'm a 41-year-old child.
no, but you know what? What's interesting is
Pretty capable one though.
I think we all need that. And I think life beats that out of us.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started playing games with my staff, there were certain people, especially my older employees, that didn't like it. They thought it was dumb, they resisted, they fought, like they didn't get it.
Rick taught me to keep doing it.
Yeah, and I
And
did.
then
I just
unfortunately
kept doing it.
we parted ways with a few people, and that's fine. They found a
Yes.
culture that they need.
Yeah.
Our bus is going forward, and gosh darn it, we're leaning into who we are. Be who
Yeah.
you are. Be who you are. Am I allowed to swear? You know what? I won't.
Yes, you can
Um,
swear if you want.
yeah, one of our hospital policies is don't be a dick.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good
And
one.
I did not invent that. The girls did.
Yeah.
They call me Hynes or Hinesy. Like we're peers there. I'm not
My
the boss of them, and they're not the boss of me.
one of my receptionists used to call me Jules. She's
Hmm.
like, Jules.
If I were one of your employees,
Not in
I'd call
front of
you
the
the same
clients.
dog.
What our rule was in front of the clients, you call me Dr. Capel, but you can call me whatever you want, as long as it's
Yeah.
nice, right?
If you're not
Behave.
having fun, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly. So I I think there are a lot of veterinarians out there that are struggling with our profession. And I, for one, love this career so much. And it breaks my heart to see people struggling so much. So let me ask you what advice you would give to somebody that's either been in our profession for a while and they're burned out, or that are just getting in and are getting nervous about what's out there for us. Like, what's your advice for those people?
Um, you know, I read a lot. So I
Yes.
like sayings and adages because they like
Good. I
distill
love that too. I
wisdom,
love quotes and all those good.
poetry, the arts.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, pretty things, as it were. And uh, as an inside kid, like I said, I had the chance to peruse a lot of that, whatever. So you develop a variety of tastes. So that would be the first thing is to develop a variety of tastes.
Okay.
Something my grandmother used to say is, Matthew, give them 85% maximum. The rest is between you and God.
Oh,
Um,
that's really cool. I love that.
so yeah, I try to exist at 85% and the rest I give to the arts pretty much. I grew up in at a little bit at Ridgedale. My best friend, I should say oldest friend as well. Jerry Martini's family owned Ridgedale Players in Troy. Um,
Oh, that's interesting.
so yeah, I got to experience theater very young. My uncle Boris used to buy us tickets to the Fisher.
Yeah.
My dad worked downtown. He was an HVAC technician for a lot of years, union forever, defending our rights. Anyway, I don't know. I like to do stuff. I so like to do stuff. Figure out what you like and go do it.
Yeah,
Think
and
slow,
not
act
be so
now.
bogged down in vet med.
Yeah.
It's your job, not your life, right?
If you're sad, I just watched the Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary because he's fascinating.
He is.
Um,
I heard a little speech by him recently, but I haven't seen the documentary, so I'll have to go watch it.
and there are Republicans that I very much ally with, and he's one of them. His what he did for California, holy moly. I'm an old backpacker. That like California is incredible.
Yes. My son lives there. Did you know that?
Really
He lives in LA. Yeah.
cool. Very
For the
cool.
last couple of years.
LA, you can kind of keep. I like the countryside.
He moved, well, yeah, he moved from Michigan to New York and then to LA. But he's a musician, so he has to kind of be somewhere where the stuff is going on.
Yeah, I have a friend from high school who's was a U.S. Parks Ranger, still is, I should say. So she used to get us into some pretty interesting places. We drive out there in a Honda Civic or a Honda CRV from
Oh, that's a
1997.
long trip.
Uh-huh.
It's
Get to know
crazy.
some people.
Yeah. Well, tell me about the arts. What'd you do in the arts? Or what do you still
Um,
do in the arts? It sounds like you still do art, huh?
ooh, big passion. You can see behind me, my neighbor John Strand is a pointillist around the corner for 40 plus years. Um, I he lets me give him a little money over time to buy some of his more magnificent pieces because he says I'm trustworthy.
So what does that
Uh,
mean? What did you say he is?
he's a pointillist.
What
He
is that?
makes dots. He makes dots
Oh,
that mean things.
oh,
So
that's
like,
cool. And that's how he does his drawings.
yeah, these are the pearls of infinite
I
wisdom.
didn't know that was the name of it, but I've seen people do that before. That's fascinating. So
Yeah.
you buy from him. Do you do it too?
No, I've done a little collage artistry. I did a little singing. I don't do anything professionally. I fenced, I curled, I just like learning
My
things,
kids
and
used to
then
fence. Fencing is
my
fascinating.
mother calls them my fads.
Your fads.
Yeah.
Do you keep doing all of them or do you go from one to the other? Because I sometimes feel like I go from one thing to the next and go, well, that was fun. And now I'm going to try something different.
To give you an example, can you hold on just 1 second?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going to show
Go
you something.
do
I
what you got to
spent
do.
I spent a month with a friend of mine who needed me and bestie again, and we were on a boat, and her mother had just passed away, and
Oh,
so She taught me how to needle felt because I say yes. If it sounds interesting and I haven't heard of it, I made this turtle,
That is
right?
cute. So what is
I,
needle? Well, what is that? Needle
it's
felt.
like a Japanese and Irish tradition where you take wool, loose wool, and you basically poke it with a pin and you're sculpting the wool. And then you paint it with colored wool, basically, and a needle.
That is so cool. Show it to me again.
Yeah, there you go.
So is it one piece of wool or is it
Uh,
different threads?
it's many pieces of wool that become one.
That is really cool. I never heard of that either.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Something to do.
Yeah. And why is that important? Like why do you think being artsy? This is interesting because I started doing this thing about 12 weeks ago with my daughter called The Artist Way. Have you ever read that book?
No,
It's
my
Artist
partner
Way.
will love it though. Text it to
Yeah,
me later, will you?
it's really cool. It's kind of off topic,
Or
but
email me. Oh, perfect. Yeah.
my daughter's a singer and she is very, artistic. Both my kids are. And she's picked up this book and it's all about reconnecting with your inner creativity.
Yeah. Talk to
Yeah, it's very
people.
cool.
They're
It
there.
it
You
has
don't have to do it on the
exercises to
internet.
do. You have to take artist dates. So every week we have to, like, I built this Lego thing the other day. That was my artist date. I bought this Lego flower sculpture and I built it. But you're supposed to try different things like that, painting and pottery and whatever, just something artistic.
I have a weekly meeting that I go to called Carl Night. It's actually on
Carl night.
Tuesdays. It's named after my friend Carl Wolf. Um,
That's
he just got
awesome.
a job with Samaritas, the International Ukrainian Refugee Fund.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, no, very cool. But yeah, and a group of people get together and we try to do something intellectual. So I'm teaching them how to make soup tonight because
Oh,
none
how
of
to
them
make
really
soup.
cook.
That's
Yeah.
cool. So cooking class. That's art. That's artsy. That's one of the things that you can do,
Yeah,
right?
and I mean we're
Creativity.
reasonable. Kids are welcome, if you like. So we have some friends who have kids that are just, they go play or read or do whatever they do.
Yeah.
They think Joe's studio is fascinating, so that's, he's in radio
Yeah. That's
amongst other
amazing.
things.
I
Yeah,
love that. So,
never bored.
well, and that's part of it, right? Is not necessarily never bored, but just not trapped in one way of thinking.
Yeah, no, I just, I keep my mind on what I'm doing, not on how
Yeah.
bad it is.
So
Because
being present
yeah, if you're
is
gonna
important.
say it with a smile.
Yeah. Even when the clients are mad at you.
Well, no, I'm either going to help them um understand or I'm not. And if I can't communicate with them, I want them to trust me as much as is possible because most of them are meeting me for the first time.
Right.
People forget the art in medicine. The art is bedside manner.
Yes, it
Are
absolutely is.
you a doctor, or are you a healer? Like, what are you there for? What are you doing? What is it in itself?
That's interesting. And your job is to communicate with the clients, not necessarily fix the pet.
Yeah, I mean, some people are in themselves and some people are for themselves. And you're always going to run into people and there are shysters but I'm not afraid to step on broken glass. I'm not going to go not walk on the beach barefoot because I'm afraid to step on glass. Like
Right.
if I do, I can fix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spilt milk and all.
Yeah. That's a very interesting way to put it because, we get so fearful of the client that might be angry or the case that might go wrong when the majority of them are going right.
Well, people think they know so much and they're so certain, but nothing is certain. I mean, death and taxes, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Especially in vet med, nothing ever goes the way. Like if you
no.
don't
And
know,
if it's a
figure out
technician's
anything.
animal, it's going to go even worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you're just not going to know what's wrong with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I tell my employees all the time, I repeat these things. It's actually, I think, why Alex Pollock works for me. I think she likes my rhymes. Heights
Yeah.
of pound the world around, Alex. I use metric,
You're a
Hynes.
poet too, right?
Oh, no, I just, theater, right? You learn things in song you never forget.
I love that. I know I was just saying that to my mom today. We were out at some antique place because we had to go somewhere and we were walking around trying to kill some time. And I came up with this song that I knew when I was like probably 4. I saw this toy and I'm like, hey, I remember the commercial for that toy. And I sang every word.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Like,
telling you. Like,
how does that happen?
I got a million of them. Like, you
To
learn
you?
bits in my family, and they're funny, and you keep each
Yeah,
other up by doing that. We
that's
rise by lifting
awesome.
others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that how you uplift your team too?
Oh yeah,
Keep
I'm a clown.
keep
I'm
them
the village
laughing.
idiot.
I love it.
You
It's
can
good.
laugh or you can cry.
Yeah, and we've done enough crying, right?
Yeah, no, I mean we cry but when it's warranted. We
Yeah.
don't cry because we're stressed.
Yes. Yeah.
We proceed with purpose, poise,
Ooh,
and
I love that.
patience.
Proceeding with purpose. That's awesome.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
they remember to be patient too, because they don't know and they're having a bad day. So give them a little room. Let them know there are boundaries. There's a letter in every room that's a letter from my staff to a client that says, I'm here to help as much as you'll let me.
Be kind. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. We're going to
So,
try and find a solution, but there will be only so many available solutions given what we think is going on.
right. Yeah. And the amount of money that they have too, right? Sometimes
Yes.
that's the limiting factor, and that's okay. I
Yeah.
try to tell veterinarians that if the clients have limits, then that's okay. Now you work within those limits.
Well, I mean, we try and treat clients as family members if they'll let us. Some people think that's icky, or cloying, or that we're being disingenuous, but that's what I try to get across is
Right.
like, if you ask me what I would do if it's my animal, I will answer you. I will give you a very
Honestly.
honest answer, and like I'm appreciative inquiry based. I tell people, like, if you don't understand something or I go too fast, go, like flying over my head, Hynes. Because
Yeah.
I'll
And
we'll get there. We just have
you
to
can
take some time.
bring it down a notch, and
Yeah.
speak in English, right? Instead of medical.
I have a note from my grandfather that says, Matthew, always do your best and be a good boy. And I like,
That's a good life model, right? A motto right there, right?
yep, I know where
And
the note is.
best and be good.
Yeah. And my
Yeah.
dad said, do your maintenance. And
Do
he
your
meant it.
maintenance.
Yep.
And that goes back to your self-care, right?
Yeah, I like gardening.
That's awesome. I love that. So, what do you think the future holds for our industry? And either in your emergency realm or just veterinary medicine in general, like what is your hope? What is your opinion? What do you think is going to happen for us?
Well, I mean, do you want 85% Matt, or do you want like my real opinion?
I want your real opinion.
Okay.
I am
All
on
right. You're
this
not
podcast
listening to
to
this
help.
MVMA.
Yeah, I'm in this business that I'm in now, right? Of
Yes.
writing the book that I just wrote and having the podcast and trying to help people by
Yeah.
coaching them in
Well,
order
that's
to
why I'm
try
saying,
to
like,
give us a better future, right? So we can love what we do and not be so stressed and burned out. And so, yeah, I want your honest opinion because
the
that's
reason I
where the
agreed to do
solutions are going to
this,
come from, right?
yeah, the reason I agreed to do this is because I feel like the world is ready to hear the truth. It needs to hear the truth. And the truth is there, when you see the differences between people, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
Like, that's what's up. And life is not two products. Like, you
It's
just
not
have to,
either or.
yes, or you can invent another one. Like, come up with something better, but you have to talk to people and you have to be willing to be wrong. And if you're wrong, you like have to take responsibility, and you then move on to reconciliation in whatever way you can. Like, my internet reviews are not great, some of them, because of reasons, emergency. People are highly strung and highly flung, it is what it is.
They're
Yeah.
stressed to their maximum for
So
many
we
reasons.
try and yeah, we
Yeah,
try and make it as good as possible. Happy, healthy,
right,
live as long as possible.
right.
So just stick to your guns, keep on trucking.
Yeah. And you think we'll be okay
I think
as a
veterinarians are
profession?
incredible. I think
I
that
love
they
them.
come out of school like holistic doctors because they look at a whole animal or a whole herd or whatever they're doing. And they're so versatile. They can do anything. That was one of the classes I taught at Wayne State, was regulatory veterinary medicine and like opportunities in government and industry. Um, but yeah, it's I don't know, teach civics to your children, get a broad education, develop taste and intuition. Like teach yourself a skill, and when you get good at it, teach yourself another one.
I love that.
Learn, 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 read, read, read. The
Yeah.
end.com.
And you'll be better, right?
Yep.
So what didn't I ask you that I should have before we start to wrap this up? Because
Ooh,
we could
can
do
I
this
steal
again.
that question?
I could talk to you probably for 3 or 4 more hours, so we can do this
No.
again. But
And,
what didn't I ask
let's
you?
have coffee.
Yeah, we will for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Tell me what didn't ask you that probably should have.
ooh, what were you listening to right before this?
What was I listening to? Or I should ask you,
Yes.
tell me what you were listening to,
Well,
Matt,
for
right before
chat
we got on here.
parties, let's exchange. Um,
Okay. I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast when I was driving
ooh,
back home because I
he's
like
got some
Joe Rogan.
opinions, man.
Yeah, I
I
know.
think
I
he's
enjoy,
hilarious.
I don't like all of his podcasts, but I do like some of them.
Do you know
That's
what
what I
he
was
made me
listening to.
realize? He's a teacher.
He's good.
He's not always right, but he's a
No,
teacher. And he said, what's the line? He goes, "Remember, everybody, women made all the humans in the world."
I love that.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
That
never
mind
thought
blown,
that
right?
thought before. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an awesome thought.
Yeah. No, I was listening to Malambo #1 by Ema Sumac.
Really
Yeah,
interesting.
it's my pump up music.
I love that. So you're getting ready for this podcast, huh?
Oh no, I was very nervous, but you didn't hurt, you didn't bite.
No, you're doing
Yeah.
great. I love it. I think we've gotten a lot of information out of you, but I think there's so much more.
Oh, yeah, no, I am a font of useless knowledge.
Yeah. Well, I really think that people need to hear different perspectives from people that work in different aspects of this profession. And the fact that you know what, I didn't ask you, and I just thought of this.
Mm.
There goes my squirrel brain. I didn't ask you about your charity um, place that you are on the board.
Oh,
Talk
A-Paws.
about
Yeah,
that a little bit.
that's a horse of a different color. Like really, that would we could talk hours on that. I am so committed to Detroit Pit Crew, Macomb County Sheriff's Department, Animal Control, and A-Paws. They do good in the world. They make the world a better place to live in.
So, so that piece of your work, which is basically charity, right? You're volunteering,
Yeah,
is valuable to your life as a vet.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
I like
I
to
love
be
that.
involved.
Okay, well, maybe we'll talk
If you're
about
not
that
part of the
on
solution,
another
you're part of the
podcast, right?
problem. Oh,
Yeah, and the second
yeah.
vice president of the Michigan Veterinary Medical Association, which I know all about because I did that, and that's fun. Being on boards is, especially on the veterinary boards, is great.
From humble beginnings, like just try and stay humble though, like because getting an ego is dangerous.
Yes, it absolutely is. Well, this has been a lot of fun.
Cool.
And
Yeah, no,
we
I had
need to
fun
do
too.
more. I've already learned some things about you, but I have all these questions now. I'm like, I got to ask them all these things. So
It's been
maybe
a
we
while since
can do
anybody
this
asked
again
me
if
about
you're
myself.
going to be less nervous, and we can
Oh
talk a
yeah,
little bit more about running the practice and maybe some business stuff we could go into and more
cast some
leadership.
shade, as it were.
Yeah, and talk about the moms group a little bit that we're both a part of, because
Yes, love
if
it.
people don't have that in their area, that would be something really cool to start. So
Every
maybe
single
we'll talk
person
about
at
all
that
that.
table has taught me, if not one thing, multiple.
I'm telling you, it is a wealth of information, right?
Yep. Share,
Yeah.
share, share your information.
Yeah, maybe on the next one we'll talk a little bit more about that kind of thing, huh?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I love this. Okay, everyone, we're gonna wrap this up, but this is Dr. Matthew Hynes. And do you want anyone to find you? You said you're not on social media, so do you want anyone to reach out to you, or if they want to know more, they can reach out to me?
I I know this is ridiculous and I'm gonna sound like an idiot, but like I'm like handshake based. I want to look you in the eye.
Face to face, huh?
That's the ranger in
Okay.
me.
If someone wants to meet you and they email me and I email you,
Oh,
we
you
can
know what?
try
I
to make
will
that happen.
actually, if anybody listening to this podcast wants to email me, My email is hynes.mj@gmail.com.
Okay. I'll put that in the notes if that's okay.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay.
Julie, can I get a copy of this when you're done with it?
Oh, yeah,
My
absolutely.
my partner, like he's in radio, so he's interested.
Awesome. What kind of radio stuff does he do?
He's worked, yeah, all sorts of things. He was part of
Okay,
a
cool.
podcast project with WFMU in New York, New Jersey. A friend of ours, Yvonne, works there, or
Nice.
now remotely, but yeah.
Yeah, I will share it with you. I'll share the audio and the video if you want.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you being here. We're going to sign off, but I'm so happy that you agreed to be on, and we'll try to
Yeah.
do it again if you're willing.
Yeah, no, I guess I'll think about
All
it.
right. Have a beautiful week, everyone.
All right.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
Matt.
Well.